talk about your truck.
Okay, so this is my Toyota Tacoma. It's a 2016, so it's a third gen.
It looks like a Tundra, though.
It is a Tundra, so it's a mashup of everything, right? We've got a Tacoma cab, but a Tundra custom front clip, Tundra rear bed sides, but then under the hood, we've got a Hellcat motor. So Hellcat motor in a Tacoma, we call it the Hell Taco.
Hell Taco.
The Hell Taco.
Let me just soak this in for a little bit, because we're at the Toyota Tread Pass, we're at the SEMA show.
Yep.
I walked by this thing, and I immediately knew I had to feature it. There's so much going on. Okay,
Yeah,
so then
yeah.
what about the frame? What is the frame?
So the frame is still a Tacoma, all the way up into the firewall. From there forward, we grafted on a Ford Bronco subframe. And what that allowed us to do is keep all of the Bronco twin traction beam. So this is 90s technology, but it's known to work, man. So tried and true.
What year Bronco?
So a 1990s Bronco. So this is the twin traction beam, and that subframe allowed us to fit a cross member for a V8, so that big Hemi V8, and then allowed us to run the suspension, all the geometry, so we're not, reinventing the wheel there.
Okay, can we take a look at the engine bay?
Yep, so we just pop this up.
Whoa! No way!
Yeah, so I fiberglassed this entire clip. I took a stock Tundra hood, stock Tundra fenders, the grille, molded them all together and made a full plug mold and made it hinge forward. So
then is it a lot wider? I'm assuming
it is wider. It is wider. And the reason I went with the Tundra was I wanted a much bigger presence. Obviously, the Tacoma is a smaller cab. The Tundra is a larger body, so it kind of fit that hourglass, tear-shaped shop. So.
And you took this off of?
This is off the TRD Pro on a Tundra hood, but I took it apart. We took a TRX badge, 3D printed it, cut it apart, and dropped it in there. So if you're walking by, you scratch your head of a 6.2 liter Toyota. So
Amazing.
Underneath, under the hood, we've got all of our custom King shocks, cooling package, Hellcat. So not only did I take the Hellcat engine, but we also used the Hellcat 8-speed transmission, the body control module, the gauge cluster. This thing will start with a red key from a Hellcat. So this is all the brains and heart from a Hellcat into a Toyota.
I am speechless. I'm a big Toyota truck guy.
Okay.
And this is just so cool. Love the King shocks,
Yeah, King
love
shocks.
the custom.
Yep, took them apart, had them custom Cerakoted in multicam. So you can actually see the factory frame rail comes all the way to there, and then the new Ford Bronco front subframe was grafted on and reinforced by the guys up in Sacramento at Stellar Built. So did a phenomenal job, and that allows us to stuff that big Hemi engine in there and get all of the suspension geometry points.
So then this tube frame.
The tube frame was then welded, the whole front half was welded on.
And it's tied
It's
through
tied
the
into
entire thing.
full
Got it.
into the full cage and into the back half of the truck.
So then, you had to obviously create these. These
all
are
the alignment
all
nubs.
custom.
Handmade all this fiberglass, made molds, same as the bed sides.
Like this piece alone is just so complicated. I feel like
the little mini half finish to get them lined up.
Just to get them lined up.
Yep.
There's like an inner structure to this. Too.
Yeah, if you notice, I don't have any hardware going through the fiberglass. No fender washers. What I wanted to do is create a subframe and epoxy bond, panel bond. Studs coming off, so we can have it removed and have a nice, clean street truck look on the top. So a little bit more complicated, took more time, but in the end result, it's much cleaner.
It's so much cleaner versus having to undo
all
a bunch
those,
of
all
clip.
those, purpose-built truck, Baja. That's function over form.
Yeah.
But at this point, I kind of wanted more of a street truck. This isn't purpose-built for anything.
This is so cool. This.
Yeah. So that's the end cap of the frame, and I'm attention to detail guy. I don't like the end of the frame stopped, so I designed just a little cap, cosmetic. And finished off that front frame rail.
Like this swing mechanism.
Yep.
With the limit straps and everything,
Yep.
just so neat. I absolutely love it so much. So then how does it lock in? It has like
it's a mechanical lock on the top.
Okay.
And then adjustable bumpers on each side. And then we are working on a magnetic latch for the final alignment, just to keep the half fenders. Because typically you see these big latches and I didn't want any of that. I wanted it nice and clean.
This is so beefy.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yep, the front shock tower, it's all tied in, reinforced, and then goes through the firewall and ties in with the cage cab.
So then, is this like a stock water pump?
So that is an upgraded Hellcat water pump. That's actually for the intercooler. So that will pump to the heat exchanger for the supercharger.
Oh, okay.
So supercharger has its own cooler up front. Then we've got our radiator. This is our power steering cooler. And then the other radiators are in the back for the engine oil cooler.
And it does have air conditioning.
Has air conditioning. This is a street truck. I want to take the family out, and drive around town, go get groceries. So it's, it's got full interior, AC, and everything.
What a vehicle. Let's go to the other side here.
Okay.
There's so much to unpack on this build. It's kind of unbelievable.
So I'm a JDM car guy. As you can tell by the Volks, we try to keep that JDM pie cut intake, same with the exhaust, and just my kind of taste and flair on a build like this.
The cooler in the front is for the...
That's the supercharger. So that's the air-to-water heat exchanger.
Got it.
Behind in the middle is the AC condenser.
Yep.
Then we've got the CBR radiator for the engine. And you can tell all the radiator pipes, we did titanium, hard lines, so everything has been custom on this, down to the headers, down to the exhaust.
What did you do for the power steering then?
Power steering is a Hellcat stock pump that was sent out to Jeff Howe in Southern California. He's an awesome power steering guy. He retrofitted some AN fittings on the pump, set me up with all of the check valves, reservoirs, and this RAM assist for the steering. So this is technically a Ford Bronco. Remember I said this is a Bronco subframe, Bronco steering box, so it's easy to find parts and easy to work on.
Oh my God, and it's...
Four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive.
Yes. This truck came as four-wheel drive, and I didn't want to take away from that. So I retained the four-wheel drive, which is a lot harder than running just a pre-runner two-wheel drive truck.
Just from a quick glance, I assumed, because of the way it sat, I assumed that it was just rear-wheel drive.
No, this is not your typical pre-runner. They don't do long beds or four doors and four-wheel drive. So this is kind of outside the norm of everything. So
then what kind of transfer case is it?
Transfer case is a behemoth transfer, similar to like an Atlas, but it's a NP205 based housing, but it's all billet. So we're coming off of the Hellcat transmission, the 8-speed HP90, into a divorced transfer case. That'll allow me to do high-low and two-wheel, four-wheel. From there, it'll go out to our rear end, which is a beefy 40-spline Currie Ford 9, and that thing is just, it'll soak up all the power.
How do you think the transmission, because it wasn't ever meant for off-road use?
It wasn't, but it'll probably have to get rebuilt. We plan on porting the blower, running E85, getting up to 1,000 horsepower. So as of right now, I think it'll be fine. We had to run a special transmission control module. Like I mentioned, everything in this car is from a Hellcat. The gauge cluster, the body control module. I didn't want to just do an engine with a standalone. I wanted the rest of the car to be streetable. So turn signals and headlights and taillights. So that's what made it a little bit more difficult.
This has got to be the most insane Toyota truck build I've ever seen.
It's abnormal, put it that way.
I think this is it.
So this is custom molded fiberglass. I molded these, made a vent in there, so it's purpose built up into the coolers. That's Miso, that's my company.
Oh.
So Miso,
Miso.
That's Miso Customs. I'm a JDM car guy, so Miso came about as it's a play on word. You can Miso fast, Miso slow, Miso horny, Miso custom. So
Miso soup.
Miso soup. And then back to that beefy, like look at this rear shock tower. I mean, we've got all our triangulation, it's double boxed. I mean, it's meant to bash.
So insane. So what are these heat
So we've got
exchangers
our coolers, our transmission oil cooler, engine oil cooler. Then back here we've got our 60-gallon fuel cell because, as we know, these Hemis, they suck down the gas. So also it'll help keep a lot of weight in the back. So a little...
This exhaust is crazy too.
So yeah, this is Cook's Craft mufflers. We did all vibrant 3-inch stainless, V-band, TIG welded all the way out the back, and then did a little kind of a JDM flare on the tip.
Oh my goodness.
So dual spare tires. If you notice, we're running some blue Volks on that side and black on the other.
Yeah, love
So just a little,
the JDM wheels. Huge tires, 38-inch.
Yep, 38-inch. We got the dual wheel calipers. So one's for the hydro, the handbrake and center console, which go into the interior in a second. And then the other one's your standard brake.
So then, does the hydro actually lock up the rears while the front are free spinning?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it'll just lock up the rears.
Is that in the transfer case programming? Or?
Nope. That's just in the hydro handbrake and locks up that caliper for the rear wheels. So.
But isn't it sending power to all four? Forgive my ignorance.
No, it'll be sending power to the back, but you don't want to have your foot full throttle and try the hydro.
Got it. Okay. The travel has got to be. It's got to be so crazy.
It's got Solo Motorsports upper and lowers, and it'll pull about 28 inches of travel strapped. It's got King 3.5 bypasses and 3.0 coilovers.
28 in the rear.
28 in the rear and about 25, 26 in the front.
It looks like a class 1 buggy back
but it's
here.
a street truck,
It looks so cool.
Like I said, it wasn't really purpose built for any class in particular, just what I came up with.
Huge King Shock
Bent
bump
all
stops.
all the brake lines are bent by me. Ran hard line, soft line. So that was kind of a learning curve because I'd never done brake lines before.
It's the clearance is unbelievable.
It really accentuates the body because we have this small Tacoma cab and these really wide Tundra fenders that have been extended even more, about 10 inches.
The back frame
Stops right about the back cab, and then from there you can see the cage comes down, ties in, then it goes into a custom frame all the way out the back.
And then is this a stock Toyota
This
color?
is stock Toyota color. Came on the 19s, 20s, 21s. It's called Lunar Rock. It's a really cool, kind of a grayish green. Working up to the top here, you can kind of see that light bar, something you've probably never seen something like that before.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna close this hood and I'm gonna show you where that kind of came from. So this is a Toyota grill from a Tundra. We needed to be a high clearance, so we chopped it off, and that extra piece of plastic, we actually flipped upside down, put it on the roof, and it actually fit the vehicle. So
Get out of here.
Repurpose, reuse, recycle, right?
It's this part of
the grill that was actually
and
in the
then
trash.
You flipped it around.
I flipped it
and
around,
put
held up there. We press braked some aluminum panels on the top to cap it off. Made a bracket for the Baja lights and grill in there, and it turned out pretty clean. I want to keep it, everyone can just make bolt lights on the top of the roof, but I want to keep it kind of streamlined, low pro, and I think we hit it.
Is this the most proud build that you've ever done?
Yeah, this is the most wild, kind of off the wall, and a lot of it, to be honest, is on the fly design. Like we don't have a crazy CAD program to build everything. Some of it, like the dash, but for the most part, we're just kind of holding stuff up, see what works, see what looks good, and just go for it.
I love Toyota trucks so
them.
much, but this is just taking it to just that next level and beyond.
So it's still a Toyota to the DMV, but we've got a Dodge power plant with Ford suspension with Tundra, so it's kind of like a mashup of just everything I thought would be cool together.
So then this is the stock grill.
That's a stock grill.
Then
This is a stock grill that was molded. This is
this widened at all?
No, it's
on this?
widened on the fenders here.
Okay, on the
it's widened on the
fender side.
fenders
Got
about 3-4 inches, and the back is widened about 9 to 10 inches.
I love driving my 996 Turbo, but after a few weeks, the battery always goes dead. When it needed a jump start using the lead acid battery, I had to pop off the cover for the keyhole, open the door with a key, pop off the fuse cover, plug in the jump starter to the vehicle to open the front, take off the cover for the battery, then jump start the car. I can skip all of that with built-in wireless jump start. All I have to do is press this button on my anti-gravity key fob, and then I'm off enjoying my car. Let's dig into the interior.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
I mean,
here.
I try to keep it simple and clean, but what we started with was we've got stock door panels, we've got stock carpet, but the dash has been changed, and we had to retain the Hellcat gauge cluster. We had to retain the Hellcat radio, the Hellcat shifter. So the dash was, I 3D printed the dash, sanded it, and I made a mold of the dash so we can make it in carbon. Then the top was wrapped in Alcantara. And then I designed a middle billet kind of band to house the passenger navigation, start button, and all the vents. Here's the Hydro handbrake, Hellcat shifter.
I love that it's the stock center console.
Yeah, I wanted it to be as stock as possible, but when you're doing this custom of a build, there's, some things that you have to...
Because the stock shifter's here.
Yes, the stock shifter's here on the Toyota. And so we decided to put the handbrake there because it kind of, aesthetically and just ergonomically fit better.
But like AC vents.
Yep. Hellcat radio,
the
paddle
tilt,
shifters.
it still tilts.
Yeah, in fact, check this out. So we've got a QD steering wheel, paddle shifters, and turn signals. Probably wondering, there's no wires. How do I do that? Designed a Bluetooth module that actually wirelessly transfers paddle shift up and down, our turn signals, and that'll go to a relay box that hides behind the dash. So, like I said, I really want this clean, so I didn't want a curly cord wire coming off the steering wheel. Race cars have it, but this is more of a street car.
Some street car we got here. Look at all of the bars collecting.
Yep, and these are all have Starlight in them as well. So,
of course it does.
I want to kick it up a notch. So these are all aluminum panels that are bent at a specific degree to match the cage, and I wanted to do like a half reveal. I wanted to showcase the craftsmanship of the roll cage. So I painted the roll cage, made some panels, got them up in there, and you can tell this cab has no cab mounts or body mounts. It's literally cage gusseted to body, gusseted to frame.
How pissed off is this system? The fact that
It's pretty pissed off. that we're not retaining any ABS. We're not retaining any of the wheel speed sensors and other stuff. So little stuff we got to go in, jailbreak it, clear some codes. But for the most part, runs, drives, stops, and
you have a full Garmin navigation.
yeah, this for the passenger. It's the Tread XL. So
for the co-driver.
for the co-driver,
and then
it'll get us to the grocery store. So we got directions.
full infotainment system.
Yep, and yeah, that's all out of a Hellcat. We essentially took a Hellcat car, ripped the body off, kept all the wiring, control modules, and fuel pumps, and transferred them over.
Does the back open?
It does. Yeah.
Whoa!
So I've got kids, man. It's a family car, so we got to have a bench seat. We've got to have a matching PRP bench seat, so that'll allow us to, throw some more gear back here or some kids.
The cage goes through here too, the gusseting.
Yep. CJ over at Stellar did a phenomenal job on the gusseting and the cage work. So, and all the
Cannot
door
believe
bars
this
match
thing.
the contour of the seats, which is really cool.
Yeah, this
And-
is so neat.
Function and form.
Stock back window?
Stock back window, stock glass. This has all factory glass, factory doors, factory cab. So the only thing that was really highly modified was the front and rear frame and the custom glass work that I did.
Amazing.
Going back to, we have the Baja rear-facing lights, and if you see the light in the middle right there, which says MISO, that's 3D printed metal. So I have a lot of little 3D printed metal, plastic and parts on this vehicle. That's one of them. Got an S2 facing rear.
What's this? This is to fill?
That's the fuel.
Okay.
Yep, fill. So that'll go down into a radium surge pump right there. So it's got 2 intake pumps in the 60-gallon fuel cell.
What a build.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Just
Really,
wild.
I'm speechless all the time because I'm so amazed at like how inventive and how creative people are when it comes to building cars and trucks in this modern age of tuning.
Well, we've got technology at our disposal, right? We've got CAD programs and 3D printing, and it's a lot different than 5-10 years ago. So you can still build a car by just buying parts and putting them on, but this really showcases how custom and creative we can be. Yeah, I designed this back fender, for instance. I wanted a Raptor look. So we've got that Toyota taillight, but with that Raptor kind of vibe coming off. Made a cap to kind of cap off the back of the taillight. It also adds some vertical support for this bedside.
Yeah. I love that, the dual purpose, right? You have the exhaust.
Exactly. It's dual purpose. It's an exhaust hanger and it's a stanchion for the bedside. And it's also on quick release, so we could take the fender off if we had to. And going back to that clean look, if you look at the inside of the fender, we did the same thing as the front clip. Epoxy bonded pucks on there so we could actually have a subframe that has no hardware on the outside. That's why it looks so clean without having exposed bolts. And
I love the plate. MISO toy.
We've got the ammo can with the jack. This is still functional. Lift up, have our storage, extra fluids, straps, jumpers. So everything's got a place in this truck. It's very compact and squeeze a lot in there.
What was the whole point of building this? Just to exercise in terms of what you can do, what's possible?
Yeah, I just wanted to, think outside the box and create the craziest concept and vision that I had, and this is what transpired.
Is this your truck or did you build it for a customer?
This is my personal truck. So I have a Toyota business, MISO Customs, make Toyota accessories, key fobs, interior lights, and such. So this was the shop truck. It was a tan stock Toyota Tacoma. I twin turbo the stock motor, blew it up, and I was gonna swap it with a 2JZ, but then it kind of went downhill. I wanted something with a little more muscle, and the Hellcat came about. So then it just snowballed. We know how that goes and builds.
Does it run?
Oh yeah, runs, drives, stops.
Have you taken it off-road?
Not yet. Ripped it up and down the block, and the supercharger whines like crazy. Just got it done right before SEMA, load on a trailer, but after SEMA, we're gonna get the shocks tuned. We're gonna work out some other little bugs and send it.
Do you think this is gonna be something that you build for customers?
No. There's so many one-off pieces, from the one-off molds to the one-off prints, and it wouldn't be cost-effective, or I'd probably go insane, to be honest, if I had to build another one.
Do you have an idea of how much you spent or how much it would cost if you were to sell something like this?
You know what?
Let's say somebody wanted to buy it right off the show floor.
Anything's for sale at a price, but this is really, sentimental to me. It's my first Tacoma, really, and I spent a lot of time and energy and just design across the whole thing, and I kind of want to enjoy it for a little bit. But, if someone offers me an absurd amount, like I said, anything's for sale.
So cool.
Thank you.
What a truck.
Yeah, I just
Really
try
good
to,
job.
I try to keep all the body lines consistent and with the grill and the lights, and this is what I came up with.
Well, when I looked at it, it confused me enough for me. Like,
good.
look at these guys right
Yes,
here.
yeah.
They're super confused.
It said Ford, Toyota, in their mind. You can see
what
the
is
gears
going
just
on
turning.
here? Ford.
Yep. And
Dodge.
then I popped the hood, like you said. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, the hood goes the other way.
Yeah,
Which-
I was. In fact, if you go back in the video, you'll see that I was getting ready for it to go this way.
Yep. That's
and
what
then
everybody
you
does.
popped it this way.
So I just curveball at every turn here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Really
thanks for
appreciate
stopping
it.
by
So
and
cool.
checking out my creation, my Frankenstein.
So good. What an absolute wild truck. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying our SEMA coverage. If you guys like what we're doing, please subscribe. We really want to try to get to 1 million subscribers. I appreciate you guys supporting us because we want to do this sort of unique content as much as possible for as long as possible. So see you guys in the next SEMA video.